Listen to me, you say you want doors to open, you say you're waiting for a breakthrough, but do you truly understand what you're asking? Because doors do not open just because you stand in front of them. They do not move for the passive, for the lazy, for the indifferent. The doors that lead to purpose, to victory, to transformation, they open to those who are desperate enough to knock until their knuckles bleed, to those who cry out in faith, to those who stand when everything around them says to fall. And I am here to tell you today, if you will say these three things, not just with your mouth, but with your heart, with your soul, with every fiber of your being, then no door in heaven, no door on earth, no door in hell itself will be able to stand closed against you. First, say this: I am not afraid. Because fear has been your master for too long. It has whispered lies in your ears, telling you that you are too weak, too broken, too unworthy. And some of you have believed it. But today you declare war on fear. You stand in the authority that has been given to you, and you say, I will not bow. I will not run. I will not be silent. Because fear is a liar, and the only power it has is the power you give it. Second, say this: I will not quit. Because the road is hard, yes, and there will be times when you feel like your strength is gone. When everything in you screams to give up, to turn back, to settle for something less than the promise. But hear me, doors do not open for those who quit. They open for those who press forward when the weight is unbearable, for those who keep walking when the storm is raging. You say, I will not quit. And every demon in hell trembles at the sound of those words. And last, say this: it is already done. Because what you are asking for has already been written. The victory has already been secured. The promise has already been given. But if you walk around defeated with your head down, doubting, questioning, second-guessing, then you are living in less than what was meant for you. You stand in faith, you declare it boldly: it is already done. And when you do, the doors begin to move, the chains begin to break, the mountains begin to bow. Now go walk in it, fight for it, knock until the door opens. And when it does, don't just step through, run. Fear has a way of creeping into every corner of a person's life, whispering lies that feel like truth. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. No, fear works in subtlety, planting doubts, stirring up anxieties, making you question who you are and what you are called to do. It tells you that you are not strong enough, not wise enough, not worthy enough to step forward. It tells you that the obstacles in front of you are too great, the opposition too strong, the cost too high. And if you listen long enough, if you entertain its voice, it will paralyze you. It's not always loud and obvious. Sometimes it disguises itself as logic, convincing you that it's safer to stay where you are, that you should wait for the perfect moment, that you need more resources, more knowledge, more confirmation before you take a step. But deep down, you know the truth. It's not about waiting. It's not about preparation. It's about fear keeping you in chains, making you believe that moving forward is too risky, too uncertain, too dangerous. But fear is a liar. It has no real power except the power you give it. It is a shadow with no substance, a mirage that disappears the moment you walk toward it. The only reason it still has a grip on you is because you've allowed it to speak without confrontation. You've entertained its whispers instead of standing up and declaring, enough. You've bowed to its influence instead of rebuking it and taking your rightful place. You have to make a decision today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. You have to stand up and say, I am not afraid. Not because you feel fearless, not because you have all the answers, but because you know that fear does not determine your destiny. You do not let a liar dictate your future. You do not let a defeated enemy control your mind. You say it with authority, with conviction, because the moment you do, fear begins to lose its grip. It doesn't mean fear won't try to return. It will. It will knock on the door of your mind, reminding you of past failures, of all the reasons why you should back down. It will try to make you forget who you are. But you do not negotiate with fear. You do not entertain it. You confront it. You speak against it. You stand your ground. And here's the truth: courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is looking fear in the face and saying, you do not own me. It is walking forward even when your knees shake, even when your hands tremble, even when every voice in your head is screaming to turn back. That is true strength. That is true faith. Too many people are waiting for fear to disappear before they act. They think that once they feel confident, once they feel ready, then they will step forward. But that's not how it works. Boldness does not come before action, it comes with action. The moment you step forward, the moment you declare I am not afraid and act on it, that is when courage rises within you. That is when fear begins to crumble. You have stayed in the same place for too long. You have allowed fear to dictate too much of your life. No more. Fear is not your master. It is not your guide. It is not your identity. You were never called to live in the shadows, to shrink back, to hide behind excuses. You were made for more. And the first step to walking in that truth is to declare it with all your heart. I am not afraid. Doors do not open for those who sit and wait. They do not move for the passive, for the hesitant, for the ones who keep looking at them but never take a step forward. Too many people spend their lives waiting for something to happen, hoping that somehow, if they wish hard enough, the door will open on its own. But that is not how it works. Doors open to those who knock. Opportunities come to those who pursue them. Victories belong to those who fight. If you are not willing to move, if you are not willing to press forward, then do not expect the doors of destiny to swing wide for you. Some people say they are waiting for a sign, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until they feel ready. But the truth is, they are using waiting as an excuse for fear. They do not want to face rejection. They do not want to experience discomfort. They do not want to struggle. So they convince themselves that waiting is wisdom, when in reality it is just hesitation wrapped in self-deception. There is no perfect moment. There is no time when everything will be easy, when every obstacle will disappear, when all opposition will fade away. If you are waiting for that, you will be waiting forever. You must decide that you will move forward whether the path is clear or not. You must choose to knock on the door even if it looks locked. You must keep pressing forward even when the weight of resistance pushes against you. That is how doors open. That is how breakthroughs happen. You do not stop knocking just because no one answers at first. You do not turn back just because you meet resistance. You keep pushing, keep striving, keep believing that the door will open, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you refuse to stop. There will be times when you feel tired, times when you question whether it is even worth it, times when the door seems too thick, too heavy, too impossible to move. That is when most people give up. That is when they decide it is easier to settle. But you must understand this: doors do not open for those who quit. They do not move for those who give up halfway. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not intelligence, not talent, not luck, it is persistence. It is the unshakable resolve to keep moving forward no matter what. You may have knocked on many doors before and seen no results. You may have tried and failed more times than you can count. But that does not mean the door will never open. It only means you must keep going. Some doors take longer to open because they lead to greater things. Some doors require more effort because they hold a higher reward. The struggle is not a sign that you should quit. It is a test to see if you truly desire what is on the other side. People love the idea of open doors, but they do not always love what it takes to get there. They want the reward without the work, the victory without the battle, the breakthrough without the pressing. But doors that truly matter, doors that lead to purpose, to calling, to transformation, do not open for the indifferent. They open for the desperate, for the ones who refuse to turn back, for the ones who press forward when everything in them screams to quit. If you have been standing in front of a closed door, the answer is simple: knock again. If it does not open, knock harder. If it still does not move, push with everything you have. And if it does not open today, come back tomorrow and do it again. Because one thing is certain: doors do not remain closed forever to those who refuse to stop knocking. Quitting is always the easiest option. It requires no strength, no endurance, no faith. It asks nothing of you but to walk away, to surrender, to lay down what you once fought for. And that is why so many people do it. They reach a point where the fight becomes too hard, where the weight of the struggle feels unbearable, and they tell themselves, maybe this isn't meant for me. But that is a lie, a deception, a trap designed to keep you from what is waiting on the other side of your perseverance. The greatest victories in life belong to those who refuse to quit. Every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has faced moments when they wanted to give up. Moments when the obstacles seemed too great, the journey too painful, the reward too distant. But what separates those who succeed from those who fail is not talent, not intelligence, not luck. It is the refusal to quit. The ability to stand firm when everything in you wants to collapse. The choice to move forward even when it feels like you are walking through fire. You will be tested. Life will push against you. Doors will seem locked. The path will be difficult. And at times it will feel as if nothing is changing, as if all your effort is wasted, as if no matter how hard you try, you are still stuck in the same place. But that is the moment of decision. That is when you must choose. Will you walk away like so many others before you? Or will you plant your feet, clench your fists, and say, I will not quit. It is not a question of whether challenges will come, they will. It is not a question of whether pain will be part of the process, it will be. The only question is whether you will endure, whether you will push through, whether you will keep going even when quitting feels like the only logical choice. And make no mistake, the enemy of your soul knows this. He knows that if he cannot destroy you, he will try to wear you down. He will whisper in your ear, "What's the point? Why keep trying? Just walk away." And if you listen to him, if you let those words take root in your heart, you will forfeit everything that was meant for you. There is a moment when every great breakthrough happens, a moment when the struggle reaches its peak, when the pressure is at its highest, when the burden feels unbearable. And that moment, that exact point where it feels impossible to continue, that is when most people quit. But what they do not realize is that they were only steps away from the breakthrough, that the door was about to open, the chains were about to break, the answer was about to come. And if they had just held on a little longer, if they had just pressed forward one more day, one more step, everything would have changed. You must understand this: quitting is final. It is a choice that says, "I will no longer fight for this. I will no longer pursue this. I am letting it go." And once you quit, you will never know how close you were. You will never know what was waiting just beyond the struggle. That is why you must resolve in your heart today, before the battle gets harder, before the opposition increases, before the doubt sets in, that you will not quit. No matter what, no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road becomes. Because the moment you declare that quitting is not an option, you take away its power. You remove it as a choice. You step into a mindset of perseverance, of determination, of unshakable endurance. There will be moments when you feel weak, but weakness is not an excuse to quit. There will be times when you do not see progress, but progress is not always visible. There will be days when everything in you screams to stop. But those are the days when you must fight the hardest. Because what is ahead of you is worth it. The promise is worth it. The calling is worth it. And when you finally break through, when you finally see what was waiting on the other side, you will know that every moment of struggle was worth it. Victory is not something that might happen. It is not something that is uncertain, hanging in the balance, waiting to be determined by circumstances. Victory has already been secured. It has already been written. The outcome is not in question, but whether or not you choose to walk in it, that is what remains to be seen. Too many people live as if they are unsure, as if they are hoping for victory but not certain if they will receive it. They pray with hesitation, they move with caution, they speak with doubt in their hearts. And because they do not truly believe in the victory that has already been given to them, they live beneath their calling, beneath their purpose, beneath the power that was meant for them. You cannot afford to live like that. You cannot afford to walk through life questioning what has already been settled. If you do not believe that victory is already yours, you will hesitate when you should move forward. You will shrink back when you should stand strong. You will surrender when you should fight. And that is exactly what the enemy wants. He cannot take your victory from you, so instead, he tries to convince you that you do not have it. He tries to make you live as if you are still waiting for something that has already been placed in your hands. But the moment you recognize the truth, the moment you stand up and declare, "It is already done," everything changes. This is not about wishful thinking. It is not about ignoring reality or pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about knowing that the outcome has already been determined. The battle may still rage, but the war has already been won. There may still be struggles, but the promise is certain. And when you understand that, you stop living from a place of fear and start living from a place of confidence. You stop hoping for victory and start walking in it. You stop approaching obstacles with doubt and start confronting them with authority. That is why you must speak it. You must declare it. You must say it with conviction. It is already done. Not because you see it yet, but because you know it is coming. Not because everything feels easy, but because you trust in the outcome. If you wait until you see it to believe it, you will never step into it. Victory does not come to those who wait in uncertainty. It comes to those who walk in faith, who move forward before they see the evidence, who act on what they know rather than what they feel. Feelings will lie to you. They will tell you that you are still far away, that you are still struggling, that you are still bound. But feelings do not determine truth. Circumstances do not determine truth. Truth stands regardless of what you feel, regardless of what you see, regardless of what others say. And the truth is that the victory has already been given to you. The promise has already been made. The way has already been prepared. Your only responsibility is to walk in it. There will be times when it looks like nothing is happening. Times when you pray, when you push forward, when you give everything you have, and yet the situation still looks the same. But that does not mean the victory is not coming. It does not mean the promise is not real. It only means you must keep pressing forward, keep speaking in faith, keep moving as if the victory has already arrived. Because the moment you stop, the moment you begin to doubt, the moment you allow hesitation to creep in, you take yourself out of alignment with what was meant to be yours. You do not fight for victory, you fight from victory. You do not strive for something uncertain, you walk in what is already guaranteed. And when you truly grasp that, fear loses its grip. Doubt loses its voice. Every step you take is filled with confidence. Every challenge you face is met with strength. Every door that stands before you is approached with the authority of someone who already knows the outcome. That is the power of declaring. It is already done. What you declare, you believe. And what you believe, you act upon. There is power in the words that come from your mouth, not because of the sound they make, but because of the faith they carry. Too many people are silent when they should be speaking. Too many hesitate when they should be moving. They wait for their circumstances to change before they declare victory, before they declare strength, before they declare breakthrough. But that is not how it works. You do not wait for proof before you believe. You declare it first, you believe it fully, and then you act upon it as if it were already done. That is how doors open, how chains break, how lives are transformed. The problem is not that people do not desire change. It is that they do not take action. They speak doubt, they entertain hesitation, they move in fear. And because their words and their actions do not align with victory, they remain stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing is shifting, why nothing is changing, why every door remains shut. But it is not the door that is the problem, it is their posture before it. They approach it as if they are uncertain, as if they are begging for something that may or may not happen. But you do not beg for what has already been given. You do not ask timidly for what has already been promised. You declare it with authority, you believe it without question, and then you step forward, as if the answer is already waiting for you. This is why some people walk into places others would never dare to enter and doors open before them. It is not because they are stronger. It is not because they are smarter. It is because they have aligned their words, their faith, and their actions with the reality that the door was meant to open. They have already decided in their hearts that nothing will stop them. They have already silenced every whisper of doubt. They have already determined that their feet will move in the direction of their calling, whether or not the path looks clear. And when they move with that level of certainty, nothing can stand in their way. You must do the same. You must wake up every morning and speak with authority, not with hesitation, not with uncertainty. You must say, I am not afraid, I will not quit, it is already done. And you must say it until your heart believes it, until your mind is fully convinced, until every part of you aligns with that truth. And once you believe it, you must act upon it. You must walk forward even when you do not see the breakthrough yet. You must knock on the door even when it looks shut. You must persist even when you feel weary, because victory belongs to those who do not stop, to those who do not turn back, to those who refuse to let go of what has already been promised to them. Some people will hear these words and still hesitate. They will say, what if I declare it, but nothing changes? What if I step forward, but the door remains closed? But that is the language of doubt, and doubt is the enemy of breakthrough. The ones who see doors open are the ones who do not entertain those questions. They do not allow hesitation to rob them of what is meant to be theirs. They do not wait for their emotions to align before they move. They declare what they know to be true. They align their actions with their faith, and they press forward, no matter what. This is how mountains move. This is how impossible situations turn around. This is how doors that seemed locked for years suddenly swing open. Not by waiting, not by wondering, but by speaking with conviction, believing without doubt, and moving forward as if the outcome is already settled. Because it is. The moment you declare it, the moment you believe it, the moment you step forward, as if it is already done, that is the moment everything begins to shift. So now the choice is in your hands. Will you speak with authority, or will you remain silent? Will you step forward in faith, or will you shrink back in doubt? The doors before you are not shut forever. They are waiting for you to knock, waiting for you to push, waiting for you to stand with unshakable confidence and declare, it is already done. But you cannot just say it once and walk away. You must say it again, and again, and again. Until every fiber of your being believes it. Until every step you take is filled with certainty. Until fear has no voice left to whisper against you. Say it 3 times, it is already done. It is already done. It is already done. And watch as the walls fall, as the barriers break, as the doors swing wide before you. Now go, walk forward, not as one who is uncertain, not as one who is hoping, but as one who knows. Because those who know, those who speak, those who act in unwavering faith, they are the ones who see the impossible bow before them. They are the ones who walk through doors no one thought could open. And when you do, you will not be surprised. Because you knew all along it was already done.